Hi, and welcome back to Terrible Lighting Central. I wanted to do something for New Year's Eve, and I saw that everybody is talking about like this craze of doing like cinnamon makeup or brown makeup, and then I saw that like the Pantone color of the year next year is going to be this like mocha brown color. And I didn't really know that brown was out as a makeup color, so to see it come back was surprising for me. But, you know, the reason that it's popular is because it looks good on a lot of people. So I wanted to take some time today and feature a brand that I don't have a ton of, but thanks to my recent move to Oklahoma City and the proximity to a cosmetic store, and then a recent holiday gift, I have a pretty good little collection. Doesn't include everything, doesn't include like lip liner or brows, but I'll substitute some things in for those. I'm talking about, of course, Tom Ford Beauty, which I know has a lot of fans, particularly his complexion products. I know that some of his powder products like eyeshadow and blushes, it can be kind of hit or miss depending on the formula. I only have one Tom Ford eyeshadow palette, and it really is because the color story struck me, but the formula to me seems very nice. So when thinking about doing like a New Year's Eve or a winter look, it made natural sense. If you like this kind of content, then please consider subscribing, liking, following. It's Unsolicited Eyevice on Instagram and on YouTube. So I'm going to start today with just my good old Refer moisturizer. It's a great moisturizer that's often on sale, and they have two versions. They have number one, which is the thicker kind of winter one, and then they have this thinner one, which is number two, and it's what I'm using today because it's what's out. And I'm just filming for the video, so it's not like I'm going out, so I don't need it to be too heavy duty. And if you notice, my skin is a blotchy, hot mess right now. So I don't have a Tom Ford eyebrow pencil, but I do have one from Merit that I've been wanting to try. It came as part of a kit, so I thought we could start with that. Okay, the people in the house next to me, because I rent a mother-in-law apartment right now until my new apartment is ready, which is going to be February 1st, and then I will have appropriate lighting and we will be back to sanity. Anyway, they smoke a lot of weed and it seeps in here, and I don't mind that. I mean, I certainly have partaken in that in the past, and I certainly don't have a problem with it, but the smell, even when I was someone who frequented it, has never really done it for me. Okay, I normally use the Benefit one, and I will say this is a little bit thicker, the point, but that's not necessarily a bad thing in the winter because I do have some splotchiness in areas that I need to fill in. Honestly, I need to do my brows. I need to tweeze them and all that. But I just haven't had time with this upcoming move and the new job and all that. So one benefit of Oklahoma City that I'm finding is that they have a cosmetics company store with a really good selection of Tom Ford. I gave my card to someone who works there and said, when you get things in that are kind of my coloration or whatever, give me a call. Now, some of the products I have today are slightly off on color. I would say they're maybe a little bit deep, particularly the concealer, but I can lighten that up with a color corrector. And then I got some great items from my friend Cornisha for Christmas. And, you know, she is a wonderful person. A challenging life. It's always hard when you've worked the streets for so long. But she told me that she's now getting to keep 60 cents on the dollar, which I think is really great. And she worked her way up. I think it's a really cool thing. And, you know, it's admirable that you can really make something of yourself. She's been kind of working in the meatpacking district since the mid 80s. And, you know, when it became really popular in the early 2000s, she had to kind of hide because the police were there a lot. And I think it's really amazing that she's continued to pursue her endeavors 35 years after the area has been gentrified. I know she likes that corner near Sephora and Restoration Hardware. I mean, it works out well too because Restoration Hardware has all the furniture that she can use, you know, for her services. So yeah, that's my friend Cornisha. She sent me some lovely things from Tom Ford for Christmas. And if you can't tell, I just made all of that up. No, my friend Connie, she's from New York, and her mother, Sandy, are two of my favorite people in the world. 12 years ago, I went to the US Open for the first time. Or was it 13 years ago? With my then ex-husband. Well, he was my ex-husband. He's not. Now he's the then ex-husband. But I only have one, I think. Anyway, and we sat next to them because I'm a huge tennis fan. And I fell in love with Connie and Sandy. And Sandy's a retired teacher. And Connie has been a really good friend for, I was trying to do the math here. I mean, it's close to 15 years. My best friend Oliver and I go up the last few years to go to the Open. He's accompanying me. And so it's always great to catch up with them. So anyway, very generous people, and sent me some lovely things for Christmas. This is something I can't show you, but I can describe it. This is Vanilla Sex, which is one of the Tom Ford fragrances that came out this year. I'm not normally a huge vanilla person, but this one smells so good. And it doesn't smell overwhelmingly heavy, so I think it's going to be nice throughout the year, not just in the fall. Let's see, she also sent... Did she send a lipstick? I think she sent a lipstick. Okay, no, it was a lip gloss. This is from the Soleil Neige collection, which is the winter collection. And this color is number 20, Phantome. I don't know if we'll get to use all of them today because I have a couple of products. She also sent the Soleil Neige Glow Highlighter. This is in number 2, which is the more golden shade. The irony is I had picked up number 1 previously at a cosmetic store, so now I have the pink and the gold. She also sent this from the Soleil Blanc collection. This is La Notte, which is one of their high shine lipsticks. It's kind of pink, so it probably won't work for today, but it's a beautiful color. And there was something else that was in there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. No, I think that might be it. I think there were 4 items. And then I picked up some over time from the cosmetics company store, etc. One item I did not pick up from the cosmetic company store, and I picked up from Bergdorf because I think they're redoing the packaging, is the Tom Ford Traceless Foundation Stick. This is still my all-time favorite stick concealer. I have it in 2 shades, 5.1, which I use on the outside, and 4.5, which I use on the inside. That is a fantastic product. I hope they're just redoing the packaging and not discontinuing it. And then the Tom Ford matching concealer, the stick is really great, light coverage. I have 1 quad, like I mentioned, and I did get this at Dillard's. And I got this because I liked the color story. It's the first time I picked up a quad from Tom Ford. This is Black Diamond, and it goes perfectly with this kind of mocha trend that we're talking about today. Like I said, I picked up another one, or I had another one of the highlighters. I had the pink one, so now I have the pink and the gold. And then a couple of other things I picked up there. I have a lipstick in Sable Smoke, which might actually go perfect for today. Kind of a brownie rose color. I have the Cafe Rose lipstick, and this is in, I think this is number 2. It's the darkest one. That was a cosmetic company Black Friday sale. The accompanying blush, which I actually wanted forever and couldn't find, and then I was in the cosmetic company store and they had the Cafe Rose cream blush, which is spectacular. Let's see, what else? I have another lipstick I picked up at the cosmetic store. This is in Electric Cherry, which is, you know, as bright as it can be. And then I have the pH Balancing Gold lip gloss. And what else? I have some other fragrances. That's just the one that I have with me in the studio until I get all of my stuff. I picked up for the holidays, and I think it's still available. Sephora had a sale on half off the Tom Ford bronzer, which is a great product. I hope that it's not being discontinued and that maybe it's just being repackaged, but it's a great bronzer. This is in number 2. A little dark for me this time of year, but it'll work. And then at the cosmetic company store, I was able to pick up kind of the Holy Trinity, I guess you would say. The Shade and Illuminate Primer, which Charlotte Holdcroft is always talking about, the Tom Ford primers, so I wanted to try that. The Shade and Illuminate Concealer, which this is a little dark. This is in Eclat, number 2. I think it's a little dark for me, but I can lighten it up. I'm going to use a color corrector to lighten it up. And then I have the Shade and Illuminate foundation in 4.7 Cool Beige. Again, not a perfect match, it's a little cool, but when you're dealing with like the cosmetic company store, you take what they have when they have it. So that's what we have today. I'm also going to use, besides that Merit eyebrow pencil, which seemed to work pretty well, the Cali Ray color corrector to try to tone down that concealer a little bit, and the Merit lip pencil because I don't have a Tom Ford lip liner, although I hear they're very nice. I also think I forgot to mention I had the Shade and Illuminate. I found this at the cosmetic company store. The Shade and Illuminate Duo, and this is in Intensity number 1. So yeah, we're just gonna play today and try to get that mocha look for New Year's. So if that sounds good, I hope you are enjoying. I have some brushes I got from the Sephora sale from Merit, so I'm going to use those today. I really love those Merit brushes, and you know, they're single shadows. They have a couple of browns that would be perfect for this look. If you don't, I mean, this is something you could achieve with the collection you already have. So I'm going to go in with the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate primer, and it's thinner than I thought it would be. It's sort of runny. It has kind of a plasticky smell, if that makes sense. It's not unappealing. It's pretty nice, but it does have, maybe, you know what, it kind of smells like sunscreen. A little bit like sunscreen. It's not bad at all. So let's go in and do the eye first. So I'm going to go in with the Black Diamond Quad. And I'm just going to do the natural progression because what this quad has essentially is a very light peachy color, a very dark brown color, kind of a bronzy color, and then this gorgeous green, brown, silvery kind of topper. I like this Soleil Neige line a lot because it really has nice winter colors. So let's go in with this, and I really liked this. I know that people say that some of his quads are better than others. There's cream formulas, there's cream to powders, there's straight powders. I think this might be just a straight powder, I'm not sure, but I enjoy it. In fact, I think that this made my top maybe 15 palettes of the year. So I've got a nice base there of that peach, and that is a really light color. So that's nice. I'm actually going to go in on the inner corner and brighten that up too. Because with these smoky dark colors, you can have a really dark eye before you know it. So I'm going to then go into the dark color, and it is dark, and tap off my brush. Although I will say, I don't want to jinx it, I am not seeing fallout. And I forgot to put on a primer, an eyeshadow primer. I don't know if Tom Ford has an eyeshadow primer. But I'm not seeing fallout with this. I guess if you were concerned, you definitely could use, you know, your favorite primer. I love the Rare Beauty one. So yeah, I've made that very exaggerated, but we'll clean that up. Now I'm going to go in and really deepen up that outer corner a little bit. That's pretty. Now, for the lid, I'm going to go in with this bronzy shade, and I'm just going to take it on my finger. Really beautiful shade. This would be where I would have wished I used my Pat McGrath Intensify wand, but this actually is working really nice. This is a really cool texture. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Lisa Eldridge texture. Why do we make those weird faces when we put on makeup? Like, does me moving my nose to the left or right make this application any better? I don't think so. Deep questions. I'm going to put that all over the mobile lid. I'm just going to go a little bit lighter on the inner third where it meets that peach color. Now, where's my little rag? God, I cannot wait to get this back in some semblance of normal. I'm going to go in with this stunning color up here. Did they label? Okay, it just says shimmer. So number 2 shimmer. It doesn't label what, or it doesn't have a name. It reminds me a lot of a thinner version of VR Fire Opal from Pat McGrath from Mothership 5, Bronze Seduction. I'm just going to put that over the first 2/3 of the lid, going from the inner corner, not quite to the outer corner. This would be a great New Year's look, and you know, if you wanted, you could not go as smoky, and you could probably wear this anytime, really. I mean, I think you can wear anything anytime. I'm actually going to put a little bit of that sparkle on the inner third too, because it's light enough that you can do that. Now, before I go back in on the under eye, let's go in and do the concealer. Like I said, that concealer color I have, I was very fortunate that I was able to find it. But, you know, these, when you're at the cosmetic company store, you're kind of at their mercy. And so this was the color that was the closest match. They also had the Tom Ford color correctors, but I can't spend even that kind of money on a color corrector. That seems kind of crazy to me. Then I've got the concealer here, the shade Illuminate. I've heard really good things about his matte foundation and matte line, but I am not a matte person. My skin tends to be a little dry. As you can see there, I don't know if you can because of the shitty lighting, but that is a little bit dark, but we'll make it work. I've had to learn to be very resourceful over the past few weeks. So the holidays, I mentioned that my friend Cornisha got me this for the holidays. My holiday is going to be a lot of packing. I have to take my 3-bedroom home, which is a small home, in Fayetteville and downsize and move to a 1-bedroom apartment here. And then I've got to figure out, do I want to rent it? Do I want to sell it? You know, I guess we'll see. This is a pretty high coverage concealer. They had the Tom Ford setting powder there and in my color. I didn't pick that up. They also had a bunch of quads that were like oranges and browns, probably from fall. I didn't pick those up either. This, you know, I could use year round. I'm not going to set that. We'll see how it stays. I kind of feel for the price it should set itself, but we'll see. Now I'm going to go in with the shade and Illuminate. Okay, Wayne. I got a little trigger happy with the gun. The shade and Illuminate. And like I said, I think this is a little bit pink for me. Very thin. It's just like the primer. But I think it'll work. Okay, that that foundation color is actually would probably be a pretty good concealer. It's a little bit lighter than my concealer, but I will bronze it up. I'll make it work. And one trick you can do that I've found, if you have that happen, because sometimes, you know, it just does, is just take the slightest amount of foundation and just dab it over the concealer, not to cover it up, but just to kind of color correct it just a little bit. That's actually not a bad idea all the time, because it makes it more cohesive, so it's not like a line. This is pretty. I will say my skin is soaking it up. It's so dry. This color is not perfect, but it is certainly doable. I think it's a little pink and a little cool, but that's actually my own fault because I always order, or I always buy cool thinking I'm a cool, and I think it's because I think I want to be a cool, but I think I'm more of a neutral. But the problem is when I buy neutral, I feel like they are orange. So I can't win. And then I know notoriously, like some companies, their neutrals go really orange. Well, I have the stick foundation in Ivory, which is supposed to be a neutral. I guess that's pretty neutral, though. To me, it does look a little yellow, too. It scares me to use this because I don't want it to go away. Although, it's weird that some stores just continue to have it, like nothing happened. So, like I said, I don't have a setting powder. So we're going to go on to the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Duo. And I'm going to grab some of the contour. I've wanted to try this for a long time. Ooh, that is pigmented. But if it is to be believed, it blends out. And it does. It blends out beautifully. I would say that this is more of a bronzy color to me than, say, the Westman Atelier, which is my favorite. But it's not a bad color. It looks like I just had some sun. It's more of a bronzer than a contour, at least on me. Do they have one that's like 0.5? I know they have like a 0, 1, 2, 3. For some reason, I thought at one point they had one that was like either a 0.5 or a 1.5 that I think was supposed to be like my perfect match. But this is actually really good because what it's doing, and then I'm just going to go over lightly with the brush with no product on it, is it's toning down that pinkness from that foundation. So that's a really nice product, very malleable. I've heard about that for a while. I just wasn't going to pay $90. But on Black Friday, Luxury Beauty is always 40% off, I think, at the cosmetic company store. And then on Black Friday, it was an additional like 30. So I got some killer deals that day. Had to wait a long time. So I'm going to go back into the palette now and just grab that dark color, the darkest color, and tap it off. Although like I said, I haven't had any fallout. And just follow that along the bottom because I don't have a Tom Ford eyeliner or a Tom Ford mascara. So I'm going to have to use a different mascara, but that's okay. I'm sure they're good. Okay, I fucked that up quite royally. Because I thought that the other end of my brush was clean and it was not. So I'm just going to go in with a clean brush and try to work that out. And that was fine. Did fine. So let's go in now with the bronzer. This is the Tom Ford Soleil Neige. Is it Soleil Neige? No, it just says it's the Bronze Eclat in Terra, #2. So I'm going to go in with that with a light hand. This is pigmented. Yeah, that is giving like Italian summer. This color might be just a tad dark for me this time of year, but with a light hand, it's manageable. And like I said, it works perfect with that foundation because I was saying that was a little cool and light for me. So once I've applied it where I want it to be and worked it out, then I can just take the dry brush and kind of get whatever's left on it all over the face. Okay, so now we need a blush. Well, I only have one Tom Ford blush, and that's the Cafe Rose one. I've heard mixed reviews on the powder ones. Some of them get really good reviews, some not so much. But I wanted to try this one for a long time. And I think that it maybe came to Europe first and then didn't come here. It's just a really nice neutral color. And I think it'll go well with this kind of mocha look. I mean, I have some like mocha blushes from like Hourglass and Pat McGrath and, you know, places like that. That probably, if I really wanted to capture that look the whole way across. But I think this is fine. That's a beautiful color. Kind of a dusty mauve. I'm going to go back into my Shade and Illuminate duo and pick up the highlighter. I know some people say they don't like this product. It doesn't have any glitter or sparkles that I can see. I mean, if it does, they're so fine you can't see them. But it gives that kind of translucent, lit from within. It reminds me a lot of those RMS glow products that I really do like. I will say, this one seeps in really fast. Those RMS ones are a little bit thicker, and I actually like that. But this is nice, don't get me wrong. And, you know, this could certainly be by itself, and you'd have a great highlighter, very natural. But I'm going to go in, since I have those two Tom Ford highlighters. So these are both Soleil Neige. One is #1 Rose, and the other one is #2 Gold. I've tried Rose before, and since Sweet Connie sent me this one, I think I'll try the Gold today. So let me grab and see, with this, putting that base down first of that cream highlighter, it really makes this one stick. And it doesn't look thick or chunky like sometimes when you do that technique. Patrick Tom. Those highlighters. I mean, I like those blushes. Some of his products are cool, but he really turned me off with those duos over the holiday break. I think, you know, they're pretty reasonably priced compared to others. I mean, Pat McGrath, Urban Decay, a lot of them have special shadows like that that are a comparable price, especially for just one, and you got two with him. But two things bothered me. The first was that the formulas were not consistent across the board when I swatched them. Some of them were very chunky, and you could tell, like, holy crap, that feels like a Pat McGrath special shade. And then some of them just felt like satin. That wasn't the big thing, though. The big thing for me was him going online with actual pictures of competitors' products and saying, well, they charge this much for theirs, so it shouldn't be a problem. And I'm like, just stand on your product. If it's good, stand on your product. You don't need to do all that because it looks lesser than. And I get that there was controversy about that, about those products, but he doesn't need to do that. He's got a huge gondola in Sephora. You know, young girls, TikTok people, they love him. So he doesn't need to do that. And the thing is, at the end of the day, you're not Pat McGrath. You're not Natasha Denona. You're not Lisa Eldridge. You're not Danessa Myricks. Like, those are Queen Bee makeup people. Even Wayne Goss, if you want to say, well, Wayne, you're not talking about guys. But Patrick Todd, that's a level down. Charge what you want. People don't have to buy it. And they were, some of them were really nice. But to do that just seems so sleazy. And remember, whether it be Pat McGrath or Urban Decay or whomever, there are people in factories who are making those products, and they depend on that. So to go online and trash your competitors' products, or not trash, but to say, he would say things like, well, this, and he would point to Urban Decay, it was clearly Urban Decay, and say, well, this one is very popular and it sells for $38, and I don't know how much filler product it has. Mine is 100% pearl. Well, you don't know. Maybe that one is 100%, but more so, people, their livelihood depends on that selling. So I don't know. That rubbed me the wrong way. I'm off my soapbox. So we have a very nice, I'd say, highlight that's kind of seeped in. It looks nice. It would have looked much more natural if I would have kept it without the glowy product underneath it. But I wanted to amp it up because this is supposed to be a New Year's look. And then for lips, there were two that I thought were really, one that Connie sent me is going to be great in the summer fall. That's the one in La Notte. But there were two that I had. One is in Sable Smoke, and then I have a lip gloss. Is this a lip gloss or is this a liquid lipstick? In Phantome. You know what? Let's try them both. So I don't have a pencil to outline, so I'm going to use the Merit one, and this is the Merit one in their bespoke color. It's slightly warmer. And laundry's done. And slightly darker than my normal lip color. I like it. It is a little bit slippery. Like I'm having trouble controlling it right now. But it'll work. I like the Pat McGrath. I like Natasha Denona's. I like the Makeup Forever. This one was just a little bit slick. Okay, so we're going to go in first with the lip color Rouge, and this is in 14 Sable Smoke. This is just kind of a nude color. He used to have one, I think he still does, called Casablanca, that I got a sample of once that I really liked. I hope that maybe I'll see that one day at the cosmetic store. Okay, so this is a brown nudie color. It's a little bit peachier. See, here I go with the special faces. But that's a good everyday neutral. Like, that's a really pretty color. You know, I didn't contour my nose, but I bet that product would work really well with that. So then I have this product. I need to look it up. No, it says Gloss Luxe. So this is a gloss in Phantome from my friend Cornisha. So I'm going to put that on top, and I think that's going to darken this up a little bit, but it's also going to make it a little more burgundy. Oh yeah. Okay, that combination actually is like a hot chocolate, or like a maybe like a caramel, like a latte. It's not as dark as hot chocolate. That has a really nice feel to it. I really like this pH balancing one that's gold. This was at the cosmetics store too, because I would never spend, you know, that much on a lip gloss, but with that sale, it was a good deal. So I'm going to go put some YSL Brown Lash Clash on and fill in my waterline with the black coffee from Pat McGrath, because I don't have a Tom Ford, like I said. And I'll put that in the final bumper, you know, before the pictures at the end. If you've liked this and you like this kind of content, it's a struggling channel. So I really would appreciate you shopping the links that are provided. But also, you know, following, liking, subscribing. It's a new and like I said, struggling, but not in a bad way, just struggling like anything new hobby does. So follow, like, subscribe, Unsolicited Advice on YouTube and on Instagram. And thank you so much to the cosmetics company store for opening one of them in Oklahoma City. And thank you so much to my beautiful lady of the night, Cornisha, for these Pat McGrath treasures, including this one, which is going to go on, and you won't smell it, but it smells really good. It's up there with like Fucking Fabulous. I love Fucking Fabulous. The Amalfi one, the blue one, I love. But anyway, I'm going to throw that on, and I will see you in the bumper, and then I will see you next time. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.